Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Wednesday Season 2, Part 2. I have never been more disappointed in a show I love than this one. I swear to God, Season 2, Part 2 bored me to tears while I was just like, when is this ever gonna be over? Like, this is not how I intended this show to go. Like, I love season one. I love it. I watched one episode of season one and then I bought it on DVD after that. I still wonder if the DVD I bought is bootleg or like legit. Like, I just don't know. So, I mean, I don't see it in stores. And this is a Netflix show after all. But it came from Walmart, and they had it on Target and Amazon and all them other places, but I don't know, man. They're starting to do those third-party things. I just don't know. Either way, it works, and I'm happy. So I was really anticipating season 2. And as you know, I particularly did not like part 1 of season 2. Part 2, I really don't like. Like, it just bored me to death. And I mean, it bored me and everything. And that's because there are too many cooks in the kitchen. There are the two creators from Smallville. There is Tim Burton, who's a director, and he only directed like 2 episodes, maybe 3 this season, but only 1 in the second part. So he gets some say here and there. And then, of course, there's Jenna Ortega, who's an executive producer and star of this show. Basically, whatever Jenna Ortega wants, oh, she gets it. Now I know why she made that comment talking about she doesn't like wearing her school uniform. It makes her feel like she's a teenager and stuff like that. Well, if they get a season 3, that is over with because Wednesday has left Nevermore because Nevermore, for the most part, has kind of shut down, at least for now. And like, well, because a lot of crazy stuff happened. And the summer, I think, was coming up. But like, basically, it's just she left Nevermore to go find Enid. And I'm all like, oh, so now she don't have to wear a uniform no more because she didn't like wearing a uniform. There's no love triangle because she didn't like that. And she also didn't like the whole viral dance number, which, yes, technically she did get a dance number. So I guess she gave that farewell to the fan, but she gave Enid and Agnes like their own dance number, but it wasn't as epic as hers from first season. I do like Enid's dance though. It's really good. It's like ballroom mixed in with kind of like lyrical hip hop a little bit and like pop and stuff. So it was really nice to see, but it wasn't like it was in the first season. So basically what she wants is what she gets. She wanted this season to be more darker, and yeah, it's more darker and gruesome and stuff. But it loses its like quirkiness around the way. Like, I don't know, like there were comedic parts and there were like quirkiness. Was it kooky like the Addams Family typically is? No. But like the first half of the second season had more humor. The second part did not. It just had little quirks here and there. All of Wednesday's one-liners are still there. They just don't feel funny for some bizarre reason. Now, there are some interesting twists. Like, we got to find out whose Thing body belonged to. Like, I've always wondered over the, like, decades, who was Thing? And they finally now explained it. Well, at least in this universe they have. That whole Aunt Ophelia thing, oh, like, that really pissed me off. The first part, all they did was talk about it. So we're like, okay, where is she? Where is she? Now, we knew that woman she freed wasn't going to be her. It was, of course, Tyler's mom. Like, that's the worst kept secret ever. So all throughout season 2, part 2, these are like, they didn't really even mention Ophelia. They don't even show us. I'm like, what's the point in bringing that up? And then, bam, the final, like, seconds of the show, they finally show her, but the back of her and everything. Grandmama has been keeping her captive this entire time, so she's known the entire time where she's been. She is blonde, just like all the other versions, so that's good. But she wrote on her wall, Wednesday must die. And I'm just kind of like, that's odd. Like, how does she even know Wednesday? Why is she pissed at Wednesday? And then I'm all like, hold up. This whole Lady Gaga thing must be a ruse. Lady Gaga was only in one episode, and she's supposed to be this famous Nevermore teacher. And so, but we only get like a ghostly flashback. And guess who, like, sent Wednesday to go find this ghostly teacher, her grandmama. And basically she's all like, you put your hands there and you read the incantation, you get a part of her power, this and that. And of course the ghostly woman tried to like told Wednesday, if you break this bond then something bad will happen to you, and Wednesday almost died. I'm pretty sure it's Lady freaking Gaga. Like, I'm sorry, but this is like the worst kept secret ever. The Addams family is still front and center of this season, but like always, Gomez barely has anything to do. Morticia's always telling Wednesday what to do, and Pugsley's just kind of there and not there. And he barely has any, like, what was really the point? Like, I now know the point in bringing him here, but honestly, they could have just substituted Pugsley for Fester, and it would have made like, a lot more sense in this and that. But they just had to bring the rest of the Addams family in, which now, of course, in the third season, don't expect to see them. They've had their fun because that was fan service, and they're probably going to have just like a cameo in like probably season 3, and that's about it. Gomez still has nothing to do, and they still demasculate him again. And Pugsley too. Like, I don't get that. The Bianca storyline is the most boring out of the just it doesn't even fit the rest of the story. Like, there's so many plots. There's an A, B, and C. The Bianca story is not even B or C. It's kind of like a D storyline. It's just, like, what was the point of this storyline? They could have had her help Wednesday out in a different way. And not only that, but why introduce the Invisible Girl when you could have just used Bianca? Because Bianca is there. Fans already like her. She can use her siren song to like manipulate people to help Wednesday out however she needs. But instead, they introduced this stalker Invisible Girl. And it's like, and of course, they made her so cutesy wootsy that so many fans like her and everything. And most likely she's probably going to help like Wednesday find Enid, but so far it's only Fester who's going to help. And he has a cameo at the very end. Enid is in the second part a whole lot more than the first. I do believe a lot of fans when they say the reason why she wasn't in the first part that much is because she has her own Netflix show, The Actress. I think her name is Emily, I think. And so now that she's a full werewolf and can't turn back, this now gives the excuse for her not being in season 3 that much, and we just get to see a CGI werewolf and everything because she has her own show. And Christina Ricci, her character really is dead. And then there's like a twist with the Billie Piper character, which I was just kind of like, what are they doing with this talent? Like, they're wasting it. Then there's the woman like who run that I can't talk right now, institution and everything. She did survive part 1, and they brought her back for part 2 just to die off screen. Like, what the world? And she didn't even do nothing. So what was the point? And they should just have Fester kill her, but they probably didn't want Fester to kill nobody. Now, one major problem, well, actually, there's 2 major problems I got this season. First major problem in the second part of the second season is all about Tyler and his family, his mom and his uncle who was the zombie. Literally, it's all about them. I'm not here to see them. I'm here to see like a Wednesday type show, And then the second most irritating thing is like they try to connect every character to the main A plot of the story, except for Bianca and them, and the Gorkin dude, and the dude with the bugs. They just say, "Screw y'all, y'all not important." And so, like, but everybody's connected in some way or another. We find out, like, how zombie dude died. Isaac's his name. We find out who buried him. We find out who his old roommate is. We find out how the atoms are, like, connected to him, and he's Thing's body. And so that was a kind of cool revelation, but they're trying so hard to connect this. And I'm tired of this Tyler story. His story should be done, complete, ended. But no, they're going to have him back for the third season because of the simple fact Billy Piper's character is half werewolf and half... Wait, what's his thing called? I forget what Tyler turns into. But yeah, she's half that. And so, like, she's gonna help him join this cult of other people like them and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, can we please end that already and do something completely different now? Since Wednesday's off on her own. Now, like I said before, I did want to see Wednesday, like, be like a Wednesday show where she's supposed to solve mysteries and this and that. But the problem is, it's not episodic, and well, the mysteries aren't, and it's like a big storyline. But they put her in like this private school. So I'm like, okay, cool. I like stuff like that. That's interesting. But Jenna Ortega doesn't like that. So now they have to go in a completely different direction and stuff. And it was kind of fun because we got to see all these outcasts and all their powers and everything like that. And so with all that, now that's all like gone. And it's kind of like in season 3, if Wednesday and Fester are going to Canada, there's no need to call like the people at school, her friends, to come help her out. Seriously, her friends should have helped her at the climax of the third act of like part 2. But once they got done with Bianca and the Gorkin storyline, they just disappeared from the last episode and stuff. And it's just kind of like the school students should have helped out with that. Like, I don't get it. But they had to have that, not the Addams family, because Gomez can't help nobody. So they had to get Morticia and Wednesday to do it. And I'm just kind of like, I am not happy at all with the structure of this second season. I'm really not. It's just disappointing. And not only is it that part is disappointing, but it's kind of like, okay, look, I get it. This is a different interpretation of the Addams family. They're going to be different. I like the way they was portrayed in the first season. Gomez and Morticia love each other. Pugsley's like getting picked on. And Wednesday is just this like, tough girl, goth girl, can't stand people kind of thing. But then you get to like season 2, and I don't know, it's just Wednesday's more angry than ever. Grandmama is completely unrecognizable. Like, they keep demasculating Gomez and stuff. Morticia is like, it's not all about her, but every time she's on the screen, they try to make it all about her and stuff. And she's constantly disapproving of everything Wednesday does, and Pugsley's literally just there. And not only that, but some of their personalities are kind of off. Like, every version that we've seen, maybe except for the black and white television show, have always had the Addams act kind of similar. Here is this, and I get it, it's different. But I just don't know. Like, it's weird. It's like, don't tease me with them if their personalities are at least not going to be like similar. They do try to bring in some of those Adam tropes that people know. They brought in Morticia's chair. They brought in her plants. They brought in like, the weird food that they eat and everything. So I do like attention to detail with that. At least they still trying to say, hey, they might not always act like the Addams family, but here's a couple of tropes that you remember, you know what I'm saying? That makes them them. Now, the only episode I like is the body switching one, which I only kinda like that one. It had a lot of good moments. The only thing I like is the body switching. Emily, if that's her name, I don't know, who plays Enid, and George, like of course Jenna. They acted just like the other person. It was perfect. It was beautiful. I love that so much. I finally got to see Jenna act with like a personality again. I haven't seen her be that way since really Stuck in the Middle. Because every other role she's taken has always been kind of like this angsty teen type character, And it just reminded me so much of like Stuck in the Middle. But other parts in that episode were just kind of boring and everything. And so, I don't know. Like, I'm really not interested in like season 3. Like, I'm just not. And you can tell they're still trying to push this whole like Wednesday Enid thing because fans are shipping them together. And so, like, I'm like, it's like really all I saw them as is like best friends kind of in the first season. Then the second season you do kind of see them pushing them more towards that direction. And so if they don't deliver on that, fans are going to be mad. So let's see, nothing else to talk about. I'll just go into character profiles real quick. The lady at the mental institute, she's just there having a change with Wednesday. And then Isaac kills her off screen. What was literally the point in bringing her back for that episode? And you don't even get to see her die. Principal Weebs, they brought her back. Thank God. I was so happy to see her come back. But it seems like she might only be back for this second part. They brought her back as a ghost and a spirit guide to that of Wednesday. Wednesday said only a relative can be a spirit guide. And Weeb says she's like her 13th cousin twice removed or something. I'm just kind of like, really? Everybody has to be connected and related somehow. And so somehow Morticia is able to sense her and see her, even though Wednesday is supposed to be the only one. So when Morticia sees her, of course, because they want to give Catherine Zeta-Jones more stuff to do, they have their exchange and their melodramaticness, and she helps Morticia find like Wednesday when Wednesday's in trouble. And I still don't understand if she's a ghost, how she's able to pick up stuff and change her outfit to go to the gala. Like, I don't understand that. Okay, so the whole Principal and Bianca storyline was the most pointless storyline ever. What was really ever the point in this being in season 2? Well, the point is that they have a new principal. They have to make him a bad guy somehow. And they needed Bianca to do something because Bianca literally doesn't connect with the rest of the cast because, she's black. So they just tried to like give her own storyline and do something with her. She rarely interacts with Wednesday, only twice, once to say hello and once to like fence with her again. So basically this whole storyline, it turns out that the principal, he found an actor to be kind of like the head of like his siren cult type thing. He's the one who organized the entire thing. And so because like Bianca's mother was in trouble and danger, this is why he blackmailed her in the first part of like season 2. Once again, he threatened to kill the mother and everything because she's hiding out at the school. So Bianca has to do his bidding. She has to make grandmama like hand over all her money and donate it to the school and this and that. Then when she used her powers on Wednesday, is it Agnes? I'm not in front of the computer, so I'm not sure what the names are. The invisible girl heard everything and told Wednesday, that she made you forget your memory and this and that. So Wednesday, with the help of the Gorkin dude, rescues like, the mom, and then she uses her power on like, the principal dude, and he exposes himself. Useless, pointless storyline. Gorkin dude really doesn't do nothing. You can kind of tell they was kind of trying to ship him and Bianca together since him and Enid are over with and everything. And so like he helps rescue Bianca's mom, and that's basically it. Enid and werewolf dude. So when the body switch happened, Wednesday found out that the dude had like another girlfriend. I don't know what other girlfriend is that. And so she pretends to be Enid and she breaks up with him. When Enid finds out the truth and everything, she's pissed because he has a girlfriend back home. And during the gala, she took him back and somehow his girlfriend got contacted and came there. So she broke up with him. Here's the problem with this whole thing, right? One, that's wrong, he cheated on her. Two, she's a hypocrite. She cheated on Gorkin dude. She can't get mad that werewolf dude cheated on her. Like, seriously, like she can't get bent out of shape about that, and she's a cheater as well. Now this makes her look even worse than that of part 1 of season 2. Invisible Girl. We now see why she's the way she is. She is extremely lonely. She has no friends. Even though she has that friends group that likes Wednesday, so why doesn't she hang out with them? They set it up to show that, hey, she's part of a groupie. She can hang out with the groupie, but whatever. But she's just obsessed with Wednesday, always following her around, invisible, and the same thing with Enid. She still doesn't really like Enid. When Enid was Wednesday, she hurt Invisible Girl's feelings. There was this type of group about like, you know, people missing limbs and wanting to be seen. And even though she's not missing a limb, she wanted to be seen by people. It was a really touching and emotional thing, and I was not expecting it to be as sad as it was. And so the Leonard Nimoy head character, he was the one in charge of this organization. So he made her feel like part of like this kind of weird kind of family type thing. Only for him to get his brains eaten by the zombie. And she freaked out and followed them. But it was really, really touching. And afterwards, her and Enid finally patched things up to where she started being her own person. She let her hair down and no longer is pretending to be like a Wednesday clone, but she does help out a lot with her special abilities. She's always following people around. Wednesday uses her like she uses everybody else and to get information and this and that. She also is the one who tracked Enid down to the border of Canada. How she was able to do that on foot, we don't know because it's never shown. But we also get a little backstory in her family. Her mom married a normie and wanted to start a different family. Her dad's always busy with his business and sends like assistants to come get her. So she is very much alone in life. Billie Piper's character, basically she hangs out with Enid all season and is trying to help Enid, helps Enid discover what she really is. But then it turns out that she's half werewolf and half whatever Tyler is. And so, like I said before, she's starting to form a cult of those same type of people to do whatever nefarious thing she wants. So now she's evil and everything. And why couldn't it just be this season she's doing that? Why couldn't she do that in the second part of this season? Why split this season up in 2 months? Why wait 3 stinking years? Jesus Christ. Grandmama, this is the worst version of Grandmama I've ever seen. She's mean, she's evil. She puts her 2 daughters against each other. She hates Gomez because he's a normie, and she won't even go to none of their family outings and stuff. Her and Morticia really can't stand each other, and it's shown that she's keeping Ophelia held hostage in like her home, which the daughter wrote Wednesday must die. I still think it's the Lady Gaga character because Ophelia is wearing white, and don't you know it, so is the character that Lady Gaga played. Enid has a lot more to do this season. We don't see her chasing after her boyfriend this season like she did in the first part. And so with this season, she's mostly just trying to help Wednesday out, but she's still pissed because Wednesday won't tell her everything. It's only during the body swap that she finds out that she's marked to die, and Wednesday never told her. And so Tyler still wants to kill her and everything. And so she's hoping out the best way she can, but she also discovers she's an alpha. She doesn't like the idea of being an alpha wolf because they're mostly solitary and alone. Also, if they wolf out on like a full moon, they can't turn back. So she has to stay locked in like a cage, but of course, stuff is always happening to where she has to wolf out. And when Wednesday got buried alive, she used her abilities to claw her out of there and stuff, only for her not to be able to transform back. Now, Enid's color, her werewolf color, is weird. The first time we see it this season, she's black. Second time, she's more like her hair color, kind of like a dirty blonde. So she runs off towards the Canadian border, and Wednesday's gonna go track her down. And the relationship between her and Wednesday was a heck of a lot better than the first part of like this season. It is still kind of weird why they're friends and why Wednesday would even be friends with her. We also discovered that Wednesday really is allergic to color because when Enid was in her body, she ate a bunch of colorful stuff and put a bunch of colorful clothes on and broke out in hives. And not only that, but when she found out that I think Wednesday broke up with her boyfriend, she decided to put on so much color and dance to like a K-pop song and everything for the whole school to see. And that was hilarious. Now, when she had to pretend to be Wednesday, she just could not keep it together. She kept acting like herself, which was hilarious. And of course, Morticia found out because Weebs helped rat them out and everything. Now, some people might be irritated about this whole Enid has to die thing. They've been doing that since the first part of the second season. And needless to say, she does not die. And it's a bit of a letdown because it's this big, tense moment. You think she's gonna be a goner. There's so many times she's put in harm's way, only for the premonition to switch to somebody else, and it just kind of switches in the weirdest kind of way to where it switches to an Addams family. But none of the Addams family dies. So this whole one of them has to die thing was just a big ruse to get people, want to watch every episode just to be let down. Bug Boy's just there and doesn't really do nothing, but he becomes friends with Pugsley at the very, very end of the show. Pugsley's kind of just there, moping over his zombie and let his zombie get away and everything, and basically lied to his father. This Pugsley's different. When he got a gift from Bug Boy, he's all like, it's not gonna explode in my face, is it? Any other Pugsley would have loved that. So yeah, but he gets kidnapped this season and you think he's gonna die because one of the Addams has to die this season. And so the thing is, I wouldn't have cared if he did. I've never been a Pugsley fan in other iterations, and I don't really particularly care about this one. He doesn't do nothing. When he gets captured, he's gagged, so he doesn't say nothing. When he's ungagged, he still doesn't say nothing. Morticia and Gomez. A lot of people have complained that they don't like these two as a married couple because they don't act like they love each other. Honestly, they really don't. They just act like they're just friends who just happen to live together. I do like this version of Gomez, but they don't give this Gomez nothing ever to do. And because they don't ever give him nothing to do and he doesn't act like no other version of Gomez, a lot of fans don't like this version. And I hate that because I like the fact that he looks like the one from the cartoon and everything and the comic. But they really don't have him act like Gomez. I do like the fact that he's a loving father. Morticia spoke French and he didn't kiss her because they're in the hospital and Wednesday's in a coma. And that really shows how much he really loves his kids. He loves his son and doesn't like that his son lied to him and everything. And they have given a little bit of confirmation as to what race Elise, Gomez, Pugsley, and Wednesday are. And they are presumably, yes, Mexican. Not just because the stars are Mexican, but they did the first episode of the whole Day of the Dead. And that's something Wednesday loves and Pugsley and the father and stuff, right? Then when they talk to the Pilgrim woman, she's all like, "Oh, this is authentic Spanish speaking, blah blah." And she didn't know what Gomez was saying when he spoke Mexican to her. And, and so you can kind of tell, yeah, they are like Mexican. As to what Grandmama and Morticia are, don't know. But if freaking Fester is related to them, the dude's not even Mexican. So, whatever. But once again, he has nothing to do, only to be implicated in some kind of plot. So when it comes to Zombie Dude, turns out Gomez was like his roommate. And that mad scientist dude threatened to hurt them and everything like that. Well, Isaac, the zombie, stole Gomez's power. Yes, he is an outcast. He does have the ability of electricity and everything. But the zombie dude stole it so he can save his sister. And he was going to kill Gomez in the process, only for Morticia to chop off the Isaac's hand, and it created Thing. And so they buried his body and stuff like that. So, but it doesn't really have no weight to it. It's just kind of like thrown in at the middle of like the show, and you're just supposed to like accept it. Whatever. And of course, Morticia is just there to complain to Wednesday, don't do this and don't do that. Thing. I'm so happy they finally showed who Thing is. I'm so freaking happy, man. I've always wondered, where is the dude's body at and everything? Well, Thing doesn't really do much in the second part of this season. But then when Isaac is talking to the Adams, he's all like, Thing is a part of me and everything, and shows that why he wears a glove, and like Thing was part of his hand. Like I said, Morticia chopped it off. But they don't explain why Thing has all those stitches around his hand. Like, why would they do that for? Like, did Morticia chop up the hand or something like that? But somehow Thing became sentient and, like, forgot that he was Isaac. Now, part of this doesn't make no sense because of the simple fact. When Isaac was a zombie and kept eating brains, his body rejuvenated. Why didn't his hand grow back? Second, where did Thing get all those stitches from? Like that's never explained. We just see his hand chopped off and he has his own personality and everything because he forgot who he used to be. It feels like this was just kind of shoved and crammed in there because they wanted everybody to be connected. And so the dude reattaches his hand back only for Thing to fight him off and kill his body and everything by ripping the heart out and stuff. And then he frees himself from the dude's like wrist and he's back being the servant of like the Addams family. Other than that, he really doesn't do much and doesn't have a personality, and he's with Wednesday and Fester as they're going to look for like, Enid. If Thing is a part of Isaac, then how come Thing doesn't possess any powers? He's not telekinetic. He can't make things come to life when he draws them. I don't understand that. Like, if he's the same entity as Isaac, he should be able to do all those things, but yet he's not. This really feels like a last minute cram in type thing that just wasn't fully thought about. Now this whole family crap with like, Francesca, Tyler, and Isaac the zombie. So Isaac the zombie kept eating more brains. He became more human looking, and we find out that he's actually the brother of Tyler's mom, Francesca. And not only that, but they have a very weird, loving relationship. They're always hugging and feeling each other, almost incestuous and everything. And his main goal, because he's a dude, he doesn't have no goal of his own or no plot of his own. He's just there to help his dying sister. Whatever their monster thing is called, basically it kills like the host after a while, and she just keeps coughing up blood. Is this because of the experiments that was ran on her? Probably, but I don't think so. She said it's just what happens with their monster line. They just eventually die and everything, especially when they have no master. And so she's been dying since she was like a teenager and everything. So he created a device that was still not normies, but outcast powers and stuff like that to take the powers out his sister. He needed a power source, so he killed Leonard Nimoy's character. I don't understand. He has the ability to draw and make things come alive. Why didn't he just do that? Not only that, but he's a telekinetic all of a sudden. So anyways, Tyler was about to kill Enid and kill that of Wednesday. Wednesday concocted a potion to make herself the new master to Tyler. But the mom interfered because she made a deal with Morticia, because somehow Morticia knew her because of what happened all those years ago. And so she's acting like a loving mom, but she's scared of her son. She talks about the experiments and this and that. You think Tyler's going to have this big, like, emotional, like, story arc this season, but no. He's kind of just there. He's just there hating on Wednesday. He's there listening to his mom. He's there trying to help his mom. There's really nothing with him because it's all about Isaac. And so they give him like a blood transfusion, and or her with Tyler's blood, and then all of a sudden they kidnap Pugsley to transfer the powers out, not the mom, because the mom's all like, I'm half past dead. Ain't no way, just help my son. She doesn't want her son turning into that monster no more, and she doesn't like wanting him to die. So they trick him and put him on a device, and it almost worked. Pugsley gets like electrocuted, this and that. I don't know if Pugsley lost his powers like Gomez and everything. It's never really shown. But here comes Wednesday, here comes Morticia. Wednesday frees Tyler instead of killing him. For a girl who has no emotions, she sure has emotions. And so, like, what is it? I forget what happened. Tyler transforms, his mother transforms, and they fight each other. He tries to save her as she's dangling. She falls and dies. He runs off, I think. And of course, like I said, Thing killed Isaac, so he's now dead. And so I guess I could talk about Wednesday, but I really don't know what to say about Wednesday. She's still moody. She still has one-liners. She's not as funny as she was before. She's more pissed off than ever. She's still more pissed off at her mom. And it's just kind of like, now she doesn't like her grandmother, but she does try to get her powers back with this mysterious character played by Lady Gaga. It backfires, there's a body swap, and that's about it. Now, I already talked about that. So, yeah, it's just, there's not really much to say about Wednesday. It's weird. It's like Wednesday's there, but the family of Tyler just took up too much screen time. Like, honestly, I really can't think of anything Wednesday really did for herself where she wasn't reacting to everything that was going on. We know she wants to get her powers back, so Grandmama tricked her and everything. But we didn't really find out anything new about her like we did last season. She just wasn't quirky enough. She was just dark and grim and pissed off the entire season and just trying to save Enid. Then, she kept trying to save Pugsley, even though she offered him up as a sacrifice. But it does show she really cares about him, but we already knew that from season 1. She still hates her mother, and the only thing we find out is that her mom reads or writes like love novels and stuff. But what did we really truly get to find out about Wednesday this season? She still plays the cello. She still writes in her little journal book thing, or manuscript, whatever it is she's writing. And we know she can fence. We know she can fight. All this stuff we knew from season 1. Nothing about Wednesday character grew. I don't know, man. I'm just like really disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just really, really, really did not like this season at all, except for 3 episodes out of 8. It's not what I expected. There was too much family interaction and too much connectivity. The Bianca storyline was just like, why is it there? And you could have literally swapped her in for like the Invisible Girl or something. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. There just are. And as much as I love myself some Jenna Ortega, she just needs to read her lines and act. Seriously. She took all the fun out of this freaking show, man. All because she didn't like this and she didn't like that. Well, create your own show or movie and then do what you want. Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.